I saw these 3D wreath forms at the Dollar Tree and knew exactly what I wanted to do with them. I grabbed a 10-inch and a 14-inch. The first thing to do was to remove the labels along with the pieces used to attach them. I wasn't going to be needing them. Next, I removed the outer rings of both forms by just pulling the pin out of what looks like washers to me. I took one ring and went to my local hardware. My husband helped me find the right size bolts, washers, and nuts in the specialty cabinets. I needed 2 bolts, 4 washers, and 2 nuts. I already measured for the length I needed before leaving, which was 3/4 inches. By taking the ring with me, we were able to get the right fit. After getting home, I was checking the fit and I found one that didn't quite clear. And that is because the washer, which is what I call it, was tacked on a little further back so the opening was smaller. After trying to force the bolt through, I gave up and got out my rotary tool. And here it is in real time to show you how easy of a fix it was. So I lined up the 2 sets next to each other, and the trick is to make sure the washers on the rings are facing up. I put a washer on the bolt and fed it through all 6 rings. I left off the washer on the bottom because my bolt wasn't quite long enough, so a 1-inch length would have been better. If you make this, just know that when you go to tighten it, don't overly tighten because it can bend or even break it apart. You just want it snug enough that when you open the form, it stays in place. You'll see what I mean. I put the other bolt through the other end of the 12-inch form. Once that was done, it was time to work on the base. I went out to the woodshed and I found a scrap piece of plywood and cut a 7 3/4 inch round out on my bandsaw and gave it a good sanding. You can use a jigsaw, scroll saw, or a router, or whatever you have. There are places that carry round pieces in a variety of sizes. The goal is to have a base to support the 3D snowman that I'm making, which is very lightweight. So I did some measuring and drew lines evenly spaced like a 6-slice pie. The point was to mark the spots where I then took my drill with a 3/32 bit and drilled holes at each mark on the outside of the round. I wrapped the bit with a piece of tape to mark the depth I wanted to drill, which is about a 1/2 inch. Once I had my holes drilled, I got out my wire cutters. At the bottom end of a larger form, I made cuts on each side of the washers to get them out of the way. I measured out about 3 inches from the edge and made a cut on each wire. I tried to attach it to the base while the top was connected, and I found the easiest way was to remove the top form first. Using my pliers, I bent the end of each wire so they would have a straight edge that made it easier to fit into each of the holes. Once I had all 3 rings inserted into the base, then I attached the top again. I went back and put E6000 on the ends of the wires to make sure that they were secure to the base. They were staying in there, but I didn't want them pulling out when moving it around later. I also picked up this small basket from the Dollar Tree to make the hat. I used my pliers to bend it. The basket has diamond shapes, so to get a nice even bend all the way around, I put the end of my needle nose plier at the point of the diamond and made a bend. Then I rotated and made bends on all points on the same row. I hope that makes sense. As I was going around it, I thought, oh, this might end up looking a little rough, but I kept going and I got to the end and it started looking so much better. I sat it down on my table and pushed on it to flatten out the brim. It turned out really clean looking with no giant waves or anything like that, and I was so happy with it. I wanted my hat tilted a bit, so I lined it up where I wanted it, and I connected it with tie straps. I put the first two on kind of loosely in case the hat moved, and then I could easily slide it back in place. Then I put the other two on and tightened them all the way down. I only used 4 total because that seemed to hold it secure enough. I took it outside and I spray painted it with Rust-Oleum black primer because that's what I have, and you can't tell that it's primer and not paint. I was going for that wrought iron look. Now you can just set a battery operated candle inside, but I wanted to dress it up just a little. I put a small wreath form that I got from the Dollar Tree on the base, and it fit perfectly and was not planned. This girl really got lucky because that was not something I gave a thought to. I placed my battery operated candle in the center. I pulled out some picks from my stash and placed them around the candle. Using the wreath form holds them in place without making anything permanent. I'm going with more of the traditional colors this year, so I'm going to be adding touches of red along with what I already have. I wrapped a red velvet ribbon around the hat and hot glued it to itself. I embellished it with some pieces that I had that matched well with my picks. I was not about to cut up mine because those things can get expensive. Use what you got if you can, people. You can add less, you can add more. It's all about preference. In the center you could place a scarf. I decided to just use one of my picks, or stems rather. My snowman is about 25 inches tall, and it cost me under $5 to make using things that I already have. Hobby Lobby has a smaller lantern that is $34.99. I think I'll make another one and paint it white and add lights. I'd love to know what ideas y'all might have. How would you decorate it? Let me know down in the comments section. I love it when I make something that actually turns out better than when I first envisioned it. So run out and get these 3D forms before they're gone. I'm pretty sure they're a spring/summer item, and I can see so many fun things to make with this. So go on and get your craft on. If you like this video, check out some of my other videos. I'll link some of my Christmas/winter DIYs in the description box below. Thanks for watching.